Hello guys, and welcome back to TechWolf. Today we are going to test your knowledge on CompTIA A+ Core 1, and this will be 50 question quiz. And if you are interested in more quizzes for CompTIA A+ Core 1 and Core 2, so as now I'm working on Network Plus quizzes and Security Plus quizzes, and those you can find if you go to the channel and click on playlists, and there you can find the full playlist for all these quizzes. So, no further ado, let's get into it. What is the primary function of CPU? Provide power to components, process instructions for ROM programs, manage network connections, or store long-term data. And the correct answer here is process instructions from programs. Which type of RAM is non-volatile? SRAM, DDR4, flash memory, or DRAM? And here the correct answer is flash memory, as flash memory retains data without power, making it non-volatile. DRAM, SRAM and DDR4 are volatile, losing data when power is off. What connector is commonly used for SATA drives? SATA data connector, Molex, USB-C or PCIe? And here the correct answer is SATA data connector, as SATA drives use a SATA data connector for data transfer and separate SATA power connector. Molex is an older power connector, USB-C is for peripherals and PCIe is for expansion cards. Which port operates at 480 megabits per second? USB 2.0, USB 1.0, Thunderbolt or USB 3.0? And here the correct answer is USB 2.0, as USB 2.0 has a maximum speed of 480 megabits per second. USB 1.0 tops at 12 megabits per second and USB 3.0 at 5 gigabits per second, and Thunderbolt is much faster, up to 40 gigabits per second. What is the purpose of a power supply unit PSU? Connect to the internet, store data temporarily, convert AC to DC power, or cool the system? And here the correct answer is convert AC to DC power, as the PSU converts alternating current, which is AC, from the wall outlet to direct current, or DC, for computer components. Cooling, storage and networking are separate functions. Which cable type is used for Ethernet networking? Fiber optic, coaxial, HDMI or twisted pair? So which one of these are used for Ethernet networking? And here the correct answer is twisted pair, as some of you might also think that fiber optic. However, fiber optic we don't use in Ethernet. Ethernet is always local network, if you think about local network which is separated from the internet, as twisted pair, e.g. Cat5e, Cat6 is the standard for Ethernet networks. Coaxial is older, fiber optic is for high speed long distance, and HDMI is for video audio. What is the maximum speed of SATA 3.0 connection? 1.5 gigabits per second, 6 gigabits per second, 12 gigabits per second or 3 gigabits per second? And here the correct answer is 6 gigabits per second. SATA 3.0 supports up to 6 gigabits per second, and SATA 1.0 is 1.5 gigabits per second. SATA 2.0 is 3 gigabits per second, and 12 gigabits per second isn't a standard SATA speed. Which component dissipates heat from the CPU? Heatsink, motherboard, thermal paste or fan header? And here the correct answer is heatsink, as the heatsink dissipates heat from the CPU by increasing surface area. Thermal paste aids transfer, fans enhancing cooling, and the motherboard hosts components. What is the standard voltage for DDR4 RAM? 3.3 volts, 1.5, 1.5 volts, 1.2 volts or 2.5 volts. And here the correct answer is 1.2 volts. As DDR4 operates at 1.2 volts, lower than DDR3 or earlier standards, improving power efficiency. Which wireless standard operates at 5 GHz? And this is very important to know for CompTIA A Plus Core 1 exam, to know all standards and at what frequencies they operate. 802.11b, 802.11n, 802.11ac or 802.11g. Here the correct answer is 802.11ac. As 802.11ac uses 5 GHz for higher speeds. 802.11n can use 2.4 or 5 GHz, while 802.11g and 802.11b are 2.4 GHz only. What does BIOS stand for? Basic Input-Output System, Boot Integrated Operating Software, Binary Instruction Operating System, or Basic Internal Output Storage. And here the correct answer is Basic Input-Output System. BIOS initializes hardware during boot and provides basic input-output functions. Which printer type uses toner? Dot matrix, laser printers, thermal printers, or inkjet printers? And here the correct answer is laser printer. As laser printers use toner, which is in form of powdered ink, inkjet uses liquid ink, and thermal uses heat-sensitive paper, and dot matrix uses ribbons. What is the purpose of an IP address? Store website data, to encrypt network traffic, assign a unique identifier to a network device, or identify a device's physical location. And here the correct answer is assign a unique identifier to a network device. As an IP address uniquely identifies devices on a network for communication, not physical location, encryption, or storage. Which tool removes dust from inside the PC? Screwdriver, wire stripper, compressed air, or multimeter? And here correct answer is compressed air. As compressed air safely removes dust, screwdrivers, multimeters and wire strippers are for assembly or testing, not cleaning. What connector powers motherboard? 4-pin Molex, 24-pin ATX connector, SATA power connector, or 6-pin PCIe connector? And here the correct answer is 24-pin ATX connector, as these are standard connectors for motherboards, and older motherboards have 20-pin connectors, however they can also use these 24-pin connectors. And the 24-pin ATX connector supplies power to the motherboard, others power drives or GPUs. Which display cable supports 4K resolution? DVI-D, composite, VGA, or HDMI? And here the correct answer is HDMI. As HDMI supports 4K, VGA and composite are older and lower resolution, while DVI-D lacks a sufficient bandwidth for 4K. What is the maximum speed of a USB 3.0? 10 gigabits per second, 5 gigabits per second, 1.5 megabits per second, or 480 megabits per second? And here the correct answer is 5 gigabits per second. And let's submit. USB 3.0 super speed supports 5 gigabits per second, and USB 2.0 is 480 megabits per second. USB 3.1 Gen 2 is 10 gigabits per second, and 1.5 megabits per second is for USB 1.0. Which component stores the operating system? RAM, hard drive, CPU, or GPU? And here the correct answer is hard drive, as your operating system, whenever you are installing operating system on your PC, is stored on hard drive in long-term memory. And the hard drives, or SSDs, solid state drives, store the operating system long term. RAM is temporary memory, CPU are for processing programs, and GPU handles graphics. What does SSD stand for? Static storage drive, system storage device, solid state drive, or serial system disk? And here the correct answer is solid state drive. Which protocol is used for email retrieval? SMTP, FTP, HTTP, or POP3? And here I believe that for image retrieval, you know that the correct answer is POP3, as SMTP is for sending emails. And POP3 retrieves emails from a server, SMTP sends emails, FTP transfers files, and HTTP is for web pages. What is the purpose of a NIC? Connect to a network, cool the CPU, power the system, or store data? And the correct answer here is connect to a network, as NIC is or stands for Network Interface Card. The Network Interface Card, or NIC, enables network connectivity, wired or wireless. Which cable type supports the longest distance? Coaxial, USB, fiber optic, or twisted pair? And here the correct answer is fiber optic. Fiber optic cables support distances up to kilometers, far exceeding twisted pair, coaxial, or USB cables. What is the standard size of 3.5-inch drive? Desktop hard drive, SSD, laptop hard drive, or flash drive? And the question is asking about form factor of 3.5 form factor. And the correct answer here is desktop hard drive, as 3.5-inch drives are typically used in desktops for higher capacity. Laptops use 2.5-inch drives. Which component connects the CPU to RAM? PSU, heatsink, motherboard, or GPU? And here the correct answer is motherboard, as motherboard connects all these parts together. The motherboard hosts and connects the CPU, RAM, and other components via buses. What is the purpose of thermal paste? Lubricate fan bearings, cool the CPU directly, insulate electrical components, improve heat transfer between CPU and heatsink. And here the correct answer is improve heat transfer between CPU and heatsink. And thermal paste fills microscopic gaps to enhance heat conduction. Which port is used for external monitors? RJ45, PS2, DisplayPort, or USB-A port? And here the correct answer is DisplayPort. For some reason this is not in bold, as you can see there, guys. DisplayPort connects monitors, PS2 is for keyboards and mice, RJ45 is Ethernet, and USB-A is for peripherals. What does RAID 0 provide? Data redundancy, increased performance, encryption, or power backup? And here the correct answer is increased performance. RAID 0 strips data across drives for speed but offers no redundancy. Which tool tests voltage in a PSU? Cable tester, multimeter, voltmeter, loop back plug, or screwdriver? And here the correct answer is multimeter, as multimeter measures voltage, current, and resistance in a PSU. What is the maximum speed of 802.11n standard? 11 megabits per second, 600 megabits per second, 55 megabits per second, or 1.3 gigabits per second? And here the correct answer is 600 megabits per second, as 802.11n supports up to 600 megabits per second with multiple streams. 802.11g is 54 megabits per second, 802.11ac is 1.3 gigabits per second, and 802.11b is 11 megabits per second. Which connector powers a GPU? 24-pin ATX, 4-pin Molex, SATA power, or 6+2-pin PCIe? And here the correct answer is 6+2-pin PCIe. High-end GPUs use 6+2-pin PCIe connectors for additional power. What does DPI stand for in printers? Direct power injection, data processing input, digital print interface, or dots per inch? And here the correct answer is dots per inch, as DPI measures print resolution by dots per inch. Which cable transmits audio and video? DVI, component, HDMI, or VGA? And here the correct answer is HDMI, as HDMI carries both audio and video. DVI and VGA are video only, while component is analog video. What is the purpose of a surge protector? Protect against voltage spikes, boost network speed, cool the system, or increase power output? And the correct answer is protect against voltage spikes, as surge protector safeguards devices from power surges. Which protocol assigns IP addresses automatically? FTP, DHCP, DNS, or SNMP? And here the correct answer is DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, as Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol assigns IP addresses dynamically. What type of memory is fastest? RAM, cache, SSD, or HDD? And here the correct answer is cache, as cache memory is the fastest, and cache memory located on the CPU is faster than RAM, SSDs, or HDDs. Which printer maintenance task clears paper jams? Cleaning print heads, replacing toner, calibrating colors, or opening access panels? And here the correct answer is opening access panels, as opening panels allows the removal of jammed paper. What does GPU stand for? General Processing Unit, Global Positioning Unit, Graphics Processing Unit, or Gateway Power Unit? And the correct answer here is Graphics Processing Unit. And the GPU handles rendering graphics and video. Which wireless frequency is less prone to interference? 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz, 1.8 GHz, or 900 MHz frequency? And here the correct answer is 5 GHz, as 5 GHz has less interference than 2.4 GHz, which is crowded with devices. What is the purpose of an expansion slot? Cool the system, increase storage, boost RAM, or add peripheral cards? And the correct answer here is add peripheral cards, as expansion slots AGPCIe allows adding GPUs, sound cards, and many more. Which device connects multiple network segments? Router, switch, modem, or access point? And here the correct answer is switch, because we are talking not about connecting networks, but we are talking about adding or connecting multiple network segments within a network. So we would use switch to connect different segments within the network. If we would be connecting different networks, we would be using router. And here is a switch, connects devices within a network segment, and access points extend Wi-Fi capabilities. What is the standard size of an M.2 SSD? 3.5 inches, 2.5 inches, 22mm by 80mm or 5.25 inches. And here the correct answer is 22mm by 80mm or 2280. And 2280 is the common M.2 SSD size, width and length in millimeters. Which tool secures cables inside the PC? Thermal paste, anti-static wrist wrap, tweezers or cable ties? And here the correct answer is cable ties, as cable ties organize and secure cables for better airflow and aesthetics. What does APIPA stand for? Advanced Protocol Internet Access, Application Program Interface Assignment, Automatic Private IP Addressing, or Active Power IP Allocation. And here the correct answer is Automatic Private IP Addressing. APIPA assigns IPs 169.254 when a DHCP server fails. Which port connects a mouse? Ethernet, HDMI, VGA or USB? And the correct answer is USB. Modern mice use USB, VGA, Ethernet and HDMI are for displays or networking. What is the purpose of a UPS? Encrypt data, provide backup power, boost internet speed, or cool components? And the correct answer here is to provide a backup power. UPS, uninterruptible power supply, keeps devices running during outages. Which printer type is best for high volume printing? Inkjet, laser, thermal or dot matrix? And here the correct answer is laser, as laser printers are faster and more cost effective for high volumes. What does DNS do? Encrypt network traffic, transfers files, resolves domain names to IPs, or assigns IP addresses? Here the correct answer is resolves domain names to IPs, as DNS translates names, e.g. google.com, to IP addresses. Which component upgrades graphics performance? RAM, PSU, SSD or GPU? And here the correct answer is GPU or graphics processing unit, as it enhances graphics processing for gaming, video, etc. What is the maximum speed of Cat6 cable? 100 megabits per second, 40 gigabits per second, 10 gigabits per second, or 1 gigabit per second? The correct answer is 10 gigabits per second. What you should wear to prevent ESD damage? Anti-static wrist strap, wool sweater, leather shoes or rubber gloves? And here the correct answer is anti-static wrist strap. And here you go guys, another 50 questions for CompTIA A Plus Core 1, and like I mentioned, if you are interested in other CompTIA A Plus examinations, go to TechVol channel's homepage, click on playlists, and there you will find different playlists for different CompTIA A Plus exams like Core 1, Core 2 and Network Plus, and soon will be also Security Plus questions. And if you found this video useful, leave a like, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and see you in the next one.